Good morning. In the winter of 1934, a baby girl was born to a poor family in rural Illinois. She was the third of what would ultimately be 5 children. During these Depression years, the family bounced around between Illinois, Oklahoma, ultimately settling in Kansas. The young girl was fiercely independent, wanted to ensure that she could finish school. So when she was 16, seeing no other way to do it, she left home, took a job waitressing in order to raise enough money to be able to finish her education in high school. She did that successfully, ultimately moved to Wichita, Kansas, and began working for the Boeing Company. After a few years there, she had a friend who knew a guy who she wanted to set her up with. These couples had a blind double date, and after a whirlwind 4-month courtship, my mother and my father were married in October of 1955. My mother worked for another couple of years while she was having the first two of her 3 children to put my dad through college. That fierce independent streak continued. She was ensuring that this family was going to have the opportunities that she never had. As she was raising her children after she successfully put my dad through school, she made sure that there was a standard of excellence in our family that was never violated. We were expected to do our very best in everything that we did, and anything less than that would be unacceptable. Our rooms were kept clean. The dishes were washed. We learned how to cook. We learned how to iron. We learned how to be self-sufficient. Her belief, my dad's belief, was you can accomplish anything you want if you set your mind to it and you're willing to work hard enough to do it. My dad became an engineer with NASA. We moved from Kansas to Missouri to Alabama, ultimately settling in Southern California. Not only was excellence a standard in our house, but faith was a standard in our house. My mom was instrumental in bringing my dad to faith. They were both baptized in the first year or so of their marriage and raised all of us in a household of faithful Christianity. The belief was we were not only to be subservient to God, but we were to serve those around us. And my parents led with that example, serving wherever they went. And so throughout their marriage, throughout their life, even into retirement, they went around to churches, serving, helping, doing everything that they could. My dad served as an elder for over 40 years. And as you all know who have served in that capacity, the wife serves in that capacity as well. So they successfully raised 3 boys, one who became an architect and a published author, one who was a naval aviator and ultimately became an orthopedic surgeon, one who was a business executive. In the final years of their marriage, my mom became a caregiver to my dad for a number of years, the primary caregiver. Dad would hardly let anyone else come near to him. And last April, he passed away. This past year has been a tough one for my mother. We moved her from the home that they had shared in retirement in Arizona for over 30 years back here to Pennsylvania to live with us. It was starting over. It was getting used to being alone. There are many widows and widowers who have gone through that process. They know how difficult it is, and this has been that year of firsts. The first anniversary that they weren't together, the first Christmas, the first Thanksgiving. Today is my mother's 89th birthday. This is the first birthday that she has experienced without my dad in the last 67 years. She has continued to exhibit that fierce independent streak, refusing to give in to the loneliness, the despair that can take place when widowhood sets in. She has come to know many of her great grandchildren during this last year. She's become ingrained in a new church and is providing support to others who are starting to go through the same thing that she has gone through. Today is her 89th birthday. So today, I want to say a special thank you to my mother, who gave me all of the opportunities that allowed me to live a life that I enjoyed immensely, to marry a woman, have 3 boys that have enriched and fulfilled my life. It was made possible for me in the same way it was probably made possible for you by the sacrifices and the efforts of my mother. So on this special day, Mom, I love you. Happy birthday. Have a great week.